I'm Donnie Warren, and this is my speech and audience.
Hey! 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 Two. Two time.
Is that a rocket? Is that an airplane? No, it's a spaceship. Would you believe me if I told you that the spaceship's DNA comes from a church organ, tram tracks, German U-boats, a camera lens, and a cannonball? Well, here's some background and history. The spaceship was created by NASA. NASA was first wrote into law July of 1958. It went into business October of 1958. It's the process of the space shuttle is it'll cost you $1.7 million, and if you want to use it, it'll be $450 million. It is part airplane and part rocket, and the engine has 37 million horsepower. Mike Cosgrove, a NASA rocket scientist, claims that these engines are reusable, that some have been on 25 trips. Each trip is 4 million miles. Now these engines, they exceed 3,300 degrees Celsius. So NASA uses a cooling technique that was used with church organs. Church organs was cooled by a person pumping the bellows behind it to keep it cool. This person was eventually replaced by the internal combustion engine. To keep the internal combustion engine cool, it is filled with a jacket of water placed within a cylinder of water. But NASA can't use water to cool its engines. It would just evaporate. So instead they use liquid hydrogen. Liquid hydrogen stays at a temperature of negative 253 degrees Celsius. Hydrogen is used to cool the engines, and it's used as fuel. At launch, the space shuttle can't depend on just a single engine, so it uses rocket boosters. Rocket boosters gets its power from a tram track welding technique. In the 18th century, Hans Goldschmidt invented a way to weld tram tracks together with aluminum. Aluminum burns at 2.5 thousand degrees Celsius, and so aluminum is used as the rocket booster's fuel. Now, to protect the space shuttle, NASA uses techniques from German U-boats. German U-boats had rubber towels glued to the side with holes in them that filled with air. Now, this air created bubbles in the water. And whenever it created the bubbles in the water, the bubbles absorbed the sound from sonar. So NASA uses rainbirds that disperse 900,000 gallons of water a minute underneath the space shuttle to absorb the sound of the thrust. And the space shuttle was designed to be a delivery van to space. It's delivered items like telescopes, satellites, and most of the International Space Station. To help the astronauts on board maneuver the cargo, the Canadarm was invented and inspired by a camera lens. The Canadarm, like a camera iris, uses 3 wires to close in and grip its cargo, unlike interlocking plates that's used on a claw. After the cargo has been delivered, the most dangerous mission for the space shuttle is re-entry. At re-entry, the space shuttle gets up to 27 kilometers an hour. Space scientist Harvey Allen realized that rockets come with their own speed problems. In the Earth's atmosphere, things that are aerodynamic go fast, but tend to get hot and burn up. So he claims that the space shuttle's nose should be blunt like a cannonball to smash its way through the air particles instead of sharp and sleek to cut through them. Costas Kontas, the head of aerospace research at the University of Manchester, has an experiment that shows what the space shuttle's re-entry looks like with both the pointed tipped nose and a blunt tipped nose. With the blunt tipped nose, it cancels the shock wave of air that the pointed tipped nose creates. And this shock wave of air can damage the wings or rip them off. So the benefits of a space shuttle is that it has greatly improved our space program. The space shuttle itself is kind of like a concept vehicle for SpaceX. And we wouldn't be able to study solar systems, galaxies, or other planets without the use of the Hubble telescope. So since the camera lens, German U-boats, tram tracks, a camera lens, and a cannonball inspired the DNA of the space shuttle, what other engineering feat produced would have next? This is my audience.